Welcome back, guys, to another City Skylines video. My name is Sports Monkey. For today, we are getting into how to build a tiered residential neighborhood. Let's get started. So, as you can see on the screen, we are starting to create our tiered neighborhood and trying to figure out what to do with it. Well, let me tell you a story about how this tiered neighborhood started. So I was on my live stream, and this was last Saturday, and I was doing some terraforming. And the terraforming, as you'll see on the screen, was not reacting the way I'd like. So the issue was the rotating tree, or it's called the random rotating tree mod, was disrupting my terrain tool editing. So I could add soil, I could build, so you could see that I built this up. So I have the terrain editor and I built up this lovely tiered plot of land, and this random mod, I could not dig into the soil to save my life. Like, I was live and I could not dig into the soil. So this whole tiered thing was like, well, I have all this land, so what am I going to do? So right now on the screen, you're gonna see me building and terrain editing a 3-tiered cake. No, it was not a cake. It is a 3-tiered residential neighborhood here in City Skylines. So now, after you guys survive story time, you're gonna see on the screen right now that I wanted to create a main feature of this 3-tier residential, and I wanted to create a waterfall. Now, you're gonna see me struggle at first trying to figure this waterfall thing out with the queue walls and whatnot, but the waterfall with the river kind of coming out of the top of the tiers, I thought that would be a very, very cool look. The way I look at it is, would you rather have a grid of residential up there, or would you actually try to do something pretty cool and something different that people don't see on a daily basis? So as you can tell, I decided to put a river, and I tried to use the water mod, and you can see I flooded my city not only once, but pretty soon you're gonna see twice. And using that mod was not a good idea. Now, if you kind of notice that the very beginning part of the river, I do have the City Skylines natural disaster water pumps, and I think those worked out a lot better than the mods I had. Instead of flooding my city, I had more control of the water coming out. But if you can't tell anything so far, is building a waterfall in City Skylines is a lot of work. So you guys got to remember, put in the work and you could get something cool out of it. So far, I really did like how the waterfall turned out, and I started detailing it. The detailing part was not the hardest part because, it's just adding rocks and other stuff like that. I do highly suggest when you are detailing, just make sure that, you just take your time and do it. Like during my live streams, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have patience for this. I completely understand that you don't have patience to do this for your entire city. But remember, this is just a tiny portion of my city of Tantrum. So in reality, we have all these bushes, all these shrubs, and then pretty soon you're going to see a lot of trees. Like, I guess my point is that this is a very small portion of my map that we're detailing, and this is just a piece of what you have to do to make your cities look a little bit different than everybody else's. So right now I'm preparing the road layout of the tiered cities. So right now I'm gonna have a 2-way single road with a bike path, because I know for a fact that we don't have tons of roads. Obviously, it's a single road, so there's not much space for cars. So if we have bike paths, that will save a ton of people from driving everywhere around this 3-tiered residential area. The next part you're gonna notice is that I am going underground. So instead of having the ugly ramp up roads, instead of having them ramp and kind of just look ugly, what I did was I decided to go underground and tunnel it. Now overall, I think it does look a lot better using the tunnel system because the road angles that I was getting were absolutely atrocious. So I definitely feel much better about what I did for, all these tunnels. Now, there we go. We connected it finally to the road. Now that gets fixed later on. So that's just our initial connection. So for all of the tunnel areas that kind of had a weird peak, like you could kind of see that the roads kind of looked weird. What I did was to hide my mistakes, I basically put shrubs and bushes and trees around everything. So, we're kind of hiding our sins. You learn that from watching Conflict Nerd or, See Player Plays. Like you see that, sometimes they hide some of their mistakes by just adding some trees and bushes. And this way, your eyes don't look at it. So overall, a lot of the detailing it's very tedious. And as you can see, I'm adding water and now I'm just filling in everything. So somebody in my comment section was like, I hate when people just add plop down buildings. And I understand that. Certain builds, like my last build for the project systems, you had to plop down those buildings. Now for here, I'm building something on a very large scale and I want it to build quickly. So I definitely chose the organic way of playing and growing out my 3-tiered residential area. Now you're getting to the point of the video where I'm going to start detailing. And right now I started out with a city park and then accidentally turned it into a nature reserve. Now, who wouldn't want to go camping on the edge of a cliff? I mean, that sounds fun to me. But overall, I did want to fill in the dead space in the corners, which is something a little bit more interesting. I just didn't want those generic, normal buildings all over the place. So again, you're watching the other side, and I'm building the amusement park area. And now that's done, I did want to add services. Basically, we need healthcare, we need other stuff of that sort. And also you're gonna see that I add even more paths. So if there was any distance between the queue wall or the key wall and the house that is up on the tier, I wanted to make sure it was filled in with something. So that was definitely something I was very aware of. So guys, welcome back. This is the finished product of our 3-tiered residential neighborhood. And as you can see, everything filled in really, really nicely. I think this turned out way better than I actually thought. Like you could see our detailed and filled in campsite. You're gonna see the cul-de-sacs that were added. You can see that our main feature, the waterfall, looks incredible now that everything around it has been filled in. And so right now, what we're going to look at is, again, I did fill in a lot of trees in this area. I know some of the houses, I want to fill in that dead space. Now, ultimately, we did get a lot of houses that get that money shot, get that beautiful view of Tantrum, get that wonderful view of what in the world is in the background there. I don't know what that was, but anyways, overall, everything looks really nice. People, remember the queue walls, people can walk on those queue walls because it is from the new expansion pack from last year. So that is also something very cool just to keep in mind. I did put our national highway, I did place the national highway underneath our 3-tiered system. The only issue we have with traffic is that I need to create an exit that goes directly to our 3-tiered residential. All the traffic is literally going off this highway, which you can see, and it's going down the roundabout. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you have any questions, please let me know. Please leave a like. Please subscribe if you like City Skylines. I appreciate every single person that watches my videos. Have a great rest of your day.